We go from the top of the Mississippi River to the bottom of the Mississippi River, New Orleans, Louisiana, Westwood One, Radio Row, the yearly discussion with the one and only Bill Walton. He is standing by now. Bill, my name's Justin. I usually sit by Dan Barrero when he talks to you on Radio Row. Dan's on vacation. He sends his regards. I know.
What?
I know.
What?
Can you believe it?
I was promised that I was going on with my buddy Dan. Oh, my gosh. And he's not even there.
I know.
From the top to the bottom. Meet me at the bottom. Don't lag behind. Bring me my boots and shoes. Oh, my. Justin, how you doing there? We are having the time of our life, but Dan Barrero, I didn't even know he took vacations. I didn't know someone as smart, as kind, as generous, as humble, as inspiring, as motivating. I didn't know anybody like that could ever even take a vacation because of the demands on his life. Where did he go? Did he come to New Orleans here to the Final Four? That's where I am. Where are you?
He didn't come to New Orleans. You'll appreciate this, although I think on your way to Maui once, you lost your bike, if I recall. He's in Maui looking for your bike, I think.
Oh, my God. Please, hell, one of the worst experiences of my life. Oh, my God. My bike is everything. My bike is my gym. It's my church. It's my wheelchair, and it allows me to do things and go places and see things and experience things that I could never do without it. But I'm doing it all right now here in New Orleans. You said it was 45 up there and partly sunny.
Yep.
It is a beautiful 77 degrees here in New Orleans. It's spectacular. What a venue. But you have the women's Final Four going on there tonight. I am so excited about that. Yeah, the prelude tonight, South Carolina, excellent. Louisville coming along. But Stanford, UConn, man, What a game. I went to Stanford. One of our children went to Stanford. And the relationship that we have with that school and the Conference of Champions, and just absolutely incredible the way they play. But, UConn is the team. I mean, UConn, even though they're the lower seed, even though Stanford is favored, man. With Paige Beckers, isn't she from Minneapolis?
She's from Minneapolis, yeah.
I mean, what a player. And the game they had against North Carolina State the other night, absolutely incredible, and the way all the ladies played. I just love the women's game. I'm sad. I'm disheartened by the fact that smarter people haven't been able to figure out that for the fans' sake, I just don't like it that you can't watch all the games. Mm-hmm. And when you have the men and the women going on simultaneously, and it shortchanges the women, which I don't like. And I'm a huge Title IX guy, and I wish they would expand it. I wish they would strengthen it. I wish there would be more equity. I was there at the beginning of Title IX. I've seen what it's done for our country, for the world, and for so many deserving people, the opportunities in creating. But the opportunity we have to be part of something really special here in New Orleans, Justin. It is Justin, right?
It's Justin.
I keep thinking it was Dan.
Yeah.
And what's Dan reading these days?
That's a good question. He's probably he's mentioned he was going to email it to you about 1 million times, and then he never gets around to it.
Well, he's a busy guy. Yeah. Just tell him I never change my numbers. Yep. And I'm reading an excellent book on the history of San Diego, where my hometown is, and Tijuana, which is the town right across the border, which shockingly has more people now in Tijuana than San Diego it does. And San Diego is like the 8th largest city in America. But the name of the book, I'm going to say it in English because I can't speak Spanish worth a darn. Mi español es muy malo. But it's called The Third Country, and it talks about the transition zone between Tijuana and San Diego, and just traces the history. It's just Michael Malone is the author, and it's just fantastic. Brand new book, and people are working feverishly on a constant basis to make things better. There are improving there, and one of the sad things right now is in the world, and we're the microcosm here with the women's championship in Minneapolis, with the men's championship here in New Orleans. But these are people here who wake up and see. And they make the decision, Justin, what's the best thing I can do to make the world better today? Sadly, there's just too many people out there who wake up and say, what's the worst thing I can do for the world today? And we're just witnessing too much of that, and it's just heartbreaking, heart-wrenching to see what's going on out there. But we are celebrating the greatness and the goodness of all that's going on here, brought to you by our friends at Westwood One. Oh, my gosh, Howard Deneroff, just so spectacular. But here in New Orleans, I mean, this is the place. I know we've had wonderful times in Minneapolis, and I'm sure the ladies are having a spectacular weekend there. But this is the town of where Jimmy Buffett got started, where Fogerty got so much of his music going. The Neville brothers, Anders Osborne. Oh man, this guy is just incredible. And then the Grateful Dead. And if you ever had the chance to read 25 years ago when Jimmy Buffett came out with his book, A Pirate Looks at 50. Oh my gosh. And the song that I picked here for this weekend is Iko Iko, which was originated in a traditional New Orleans song here. But this city also has given us Avery Johnson and Clyde Drexler, two of my heroes. And I've been here so many times. A lot of it at around Katrina, the initial efforts of the NBA did so much to help rebuild this city. And if you haven't been to New Orleans recently, you won't even recognize it. They got a brand new airport. All the freeways have been redone. Everything's been repainted. It's just in fantastic condition. And we got the basketball teams, games, players, coaches, fans, everybody who are going to be able to deliver a remarkable entertainment product that is going to have historical impact. And the legacy and the tradition and the history that's all going on right now here, because you got North Carolina and a brand new coach, Hubert Davis, a longtime friend. And then you got Jay Wright, a Hall of Famer already himself. I was there the night he went into the Hall of Fame. He's got a couple championships in just the last few years. What a team they have. All the injury to Justin Moore is going to be a big problem there. You got Kansas, which is an incredible success story under Bill Self and what he does. I was there when he went into the Hall of Fame. That was remarkable. And you got the different kind of players. With Kansas, I love the style. I love the culture. I love the identity, the way they play, how they play, the speed game, just racing up and down. My question with Kansas is David McCormick going to be able to anchor the middle the way that we know that the big boys from the big guys, big men from Duke are, when you got Williams and when you got Banchero, and then you got Baycott, who's just absolutely tremendous for North Carolina, and then we're going to see what Brady Manick. Brady Manick, I've been drifting and dreaming about him because I remember there was a startup band years ago, and so they were big basketball fans, and they're from the Pacific Northwest, Seattle. And they were enamored with Mookie Blaylock. And so they named their band Mookie Blaylock. And then it didn't really work out for them, so they changed their name. They changed their name to Pearl Jam.
That's better.
And so
that's better.
So when I'm watching Brady Manick now, I'm just thinking there's got to be a startup band out there right now who's going to say we're going to call ourselves Brady Manick. Kind of like Widespread Panic, but Brady Manick.
I like it. That's the voice of Bill Walton. I've got one more question for you because I know Charlie Barker's got you running around.
Charlie, man, that guy's a taskmaster.
I know, and he gets mad at me. He's already blowing up my phone, and I respect Charlie Barker, so I'm gonna listen. Yeah, barely. I try to.
What has led you to that precarious position in life?
He brings you to us every single year, so I appreciate that.
No, I call Charlie every day of the year because I only get to come on this show once from the Final Four per year. I call Charlie the other 364 days of the year, and I say, make sure I get on with Dan Barrero at KFAN in Minneapolis, and then I finally get on, and I hear it's Justin, who I remember you as being a very cool dude yourself. Not as good looking as Dan.
No,
maybe not as well read as Dan.
No,
but you still do your job, and it takes a team, and I'm a team guy. So what was your question?
It's about the coaches in this Final Four. You mentioned UConn and Stanford on the women's side. Certainly two legends, Tara Vanderveer, Gino Auriemma, and this is Coach K in New Orleans, right? It's kind of his coronation. So you played for maybe the best of all time. I know you think he's the best of all time, whatever the argument can be. What do those coaches have figured out that the rest are chasing?
Okay, so I'm going to start a little different, but bring me back and focus it. Okay, Charlie is saying, Charlie, I'm turning my back to you. Okay, so, now I lost my train of thought here.
The coaches, what do they have figured out that the rest are chasing?
The four coaches here?
Well, just the great ones. The John Woodens, the Mike Krzyzewskis,
their
the Gino
ability
Auriemmas.
To teach, to lead, to inspire, to build. Now, the elements of being a good coach are the same thing as being the elements of a good parent, a good corporate executive, a good community leader, and that it starts with being a good person. And then it transitions quickly to what kind of life do you lead? Do you lead a life of standards and values and integrity and credibility? And then are you able to inspire? Are you able to build? Are you able to lead? Are you able to recruit? Are you able to teach? And are you able to, at some point, the coach, like the parent, you have to let the players go. You have to let the children go. And Wooden was maybe, I played for the greatest coaches ever.
Yep.
I mean, I had 6 of my coaches are in the Hall of Fame. Many more would be if these legs of mine had carried me to where I wanted to go. But Wooden's last words to us, Justin, it is Justin, right? It's not Dan. Okay.
It's Justin.
So Wooden's last words in the locker room, we never used the blackboard. We never had a play. We never watched film. He mentioned the other team twice in 4 years. Twice he mentioned the other team. We lost both of those games. Thanks a lot, Coach. But his closing words, after a few mumbled comments and thoughts about what needed to be done that day, he would say, look at us, take a big deep breath and a pause, and he would say, men, I've done my job. The rest is up to you. When that game starts, don't ever look over here at the sideline for me to help you. I can't do anything else. It's on you now. Let's get going. And so what the coach has to do, he has to be able to teach you how to become a champion, teach you how to think like a champion, how to act like a champion. And what these guys are going to have to do, it's going to be hardest for Duke because they have the best players.
Yep.
And when you're the favorite, as they are, then you have to come up with these incredible levels of self-motivation. Now, all they have to do is think back to the last time they played against North Carolina and Coach K's last game at Cameron. And please, beware the unintended consequences of throwing a party for yourself. And so here's this team that's got all these players on it. They got everything. They got big dudes. They got little dudes. They got middle-sized guys, and they're all skilled. They're all fit as can be. Bancaro, Williams, Roach, Moore, A.J. Griffith, Keels, John. I'm also very wary of people who have 2 first names. So Theo John, I'm just going to have
He's from Minnesota, too.
Is he?
Yeah.
There are so many great players from Minnesota. I mean, I just can't even remember this endless list here. But what's going to have to happen in this tournament? Nobody knows who's going to win. You think that Duke should win. They have the best players, the most players. They got this legendary coach. And North Carolina, though, is hot. And so Villanova overcome injury. Kansas, can they get the front court production? And can they get Abaji to be the assertive lead player? So if you're the coach, and this is something that just doesn't happen in one day. This comes over a long period of time. When you teach these guys how to know how to deliver peak performance on command. So whether it's going to be Abaji or Brown or Remy Martin or all these great players, Mitch Lightfoot, DeJuan Harris, Coleman Lance, KJ Adams, whether it's going to be Leaky Black or Caleb Love or RJ Davis or Brady Manick, if he's not out busy having an NIL with some band out there, and then you got Puff Johnson there, and then you got with Villanova, you got little Colin Gillespie, who's taken over for little Archie. You got Brandon Slater. Caleb Daniels is going to have a bigger responsibility. Jermaine Samuels, Eric Dixon, the big dude. But that takes that one guy. And when you just think of the one guy, the best example right now, most recent in our minds, is what Caleb Love did to UCLA. I mean, Caleb Love just went out there and played basketball. How you win the game at the park. How you win the game at the rec center when you got to win to stay on the court. And you just take over, you make all your shots, and you grab all the rebounds, and you steal all the balls, and you just do everything that you can, and you get into that zone, and it happens. And the coach has to know the pulse of the team. He has to be willing to let them go, let them have the freedom to be the artist and the creator, the way that Anders Osborne, sang Rockin' in the Free World on New Year's Eve at Terrapin Crossroads there the other year is just incredible. The way the Neville brothers would let it rock with Iko, the way that Fogarty would just bring it every single time. Know the pulse, find the light, be the light, and when you get in trouble, when you get confused, somehow, some way, please reach Dan Barrero and find that path back to the promised land at the top of the mountain. From the top, Minneapolis, to the bottom at New Orleans. Yeah, meet me at the bottom. Don't lag behind. Bring me my boots and shoes, and please bring me Dan Barrero. Yeah.
Thank you, Bill
KFAN, where dreams become reality, where we come to grow, and where the deal goes down. Let's rock. New Orleans, Minneapolis, men's, women's, Final Four. We are here. The moment of truth is upon us. Who will be the champion? Stay tuned. Westwood One Radio. Yeah.
We'll talk to you next year in Houston. Gun belt tight. Thank you, Bill Walton. There he goes. How many questions did I get? 2?
Yeah, I think maybe 3.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of snuck in a couple about Dan. Well, he asked me where Dan was. I told him Hawaii. He mentioned his bike. I had to repeat my question about the coaches because he lost his train of thought. And that was it. I mean, that was the Bill Walton experience. Did I oversell it?
No.
Did I oversell it last
undersold
segment?
it.
I may have undersold it. I think even for Walton, and that was about 15 minutes. We were supposed to have him 12. I did my best. I just said thank you and let him walk off. I didn't want to keep him. He brought it full circle to Dan. Our guy Charlie Barker is panicking because he's got to get to Kansas City radio now next, and they've got a hard stop at 4. But it's the Bill Walton freight train, and I appreciate everybody that wrote in to the Bradshaw and Bryan inbox, booth at KFAN.com, and tweeted me questions for Bill Walton. Maybe next year we will get those questions in for Bill. But I think I got 2. I didn't get to a third. We brought up Dan. We brought up Maui. Then we brought up the coaches. We had to repeat that. And then here we go. So how do you take your first Bill Walton experience? How do you react to that, Max?
That was incredible. I mean, it was an inspirational. It was erratic. It was
erratic,
incredible. I mean, you can't oversell it. That was one of the best interviews I've ever heard on KFAN.
Well, that wasn't an interview. Yeah. That was not an interview. That was a lecture. That was a speech.
A monologue.
That was a monologue. That was a sermon. That was a soliloquy. That was Bill Walton. That's all you need to say. That was Bill Walton. If you missed it, we'll replay it later in the show, believe me. And we'll replay it probably over the weekend. And we'll replay sound bites from that for the rest of time. And a reminder that all the games, women and men, Final Four, as Bill would say, from Minneapolis to New Orleans, can be heard on the Fan or KFAN Plus. Starting with the semifinals tonight down at Target Center. You'll hear those after us. Coming up a little bit later tonight. We'll join that in progress. And it's either the Plus or the Fan for the semifinals tomorrow. Championship game on the women's side on Sunday. And the championship game on Monday night. We'll regroup, we'll reboot, and we will be joined by Russo Radio to talk hockey when we kick off the second